Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show. This is a show that is dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So today we're back for the 20th of March for battle number 20 and our battle of the bands. We have two bands here that, to be quite honest, I thought this might be a little bit lopsided, but turned out to be very stiff competition battle. I think it was, sometimes I think what happens is that if I hear the wrong type of music or the wrong album on a day when I'm not in the mood for it, it doesn't measure up very well. And then if I hear it at a different time when I am in the mood for it, it becomes almost like a totally different album. I'm sure some of you have had this experience. So the two bands we're doing today for battle number 20, Rose Tattoo, their debut album from 1978, and Utan, self-titled album from 1971. Now, they both have kind of interesting covers too. The Rose Tattoo one has a flower petal with some kind of venomous looking, almost snake-like looking parts to it, whereas Utan is kind of a takeoff of that King Kong, cheap King Kong movie fighting where he's up on the Empire State Building. This is an orangutan who's bigger than the city. Yeah, so a couple of very interesting different type of albums. To be honest, I like them both. I thought Rose Tattoo was just going to blow them out of the water here, but didn't happen that way. So we'll start with the Rose Tattoo debut album. 10 tracks, all pretty solid stuff. Nothing got below a 5. Most of the songs were 6 or 7s. I really like the opening track. Heavy guitar, very bluesy. Has some rocky parts to it too, almost like kind of a bit of both, and some really interesting slide guitar here. This is a strong track. A very good opening for this album. Most of the album is kind of ranging in that kind of hard rock, heavy riffing range with some slide guitar here and there. The vocals are very actually perfect for this group. He's got a bit of that kind of Bon Scott sound to him, but a clearer sound. I don't know if that makes any sense. He's a clear sound, but he does have a raspy part to him as well, and he also has that kind of really rockin' voice. He does the blues part really well as well. So this is a well-structured album and a well-structured band. The other song I really like on this album is The Butcher and Fast Eddie. Basically, it's really intriguing. The music is slow and methodic. The song is heavy with some heavy guitars, but the vocals stay on this kind of storytelling. This is something I've seen with AC/DC. I've seen it with a couple of other bands too. But he tells a story, and it's really intriguing. You hear the story about the Butcher and Fast Eddie, and how they ended up in conflict, and Fast Eddie gets killed, basically. Really solid song. I really like it. It's kind of reminiscent of those storytelling songs that you hear from those other bands. Other couple songs I like here, which is Remedy, really heavy guitar, very fast paced, really catchy. The vocals are really good as well. Same as Astro Wally. I like that quite a bit, from heavy guitar riffing, some nice striking vocals and guitar parts. It's got a kind of a 50-ish sound to it, this particular track. But most of the album is like that. Pretty rocky, pretty heavy, but does have that kind of rock and roll sound. Not when it was rock and roll and not rock, if you know what I'm saying. Anyways, this is a really solid album from top to bottom. The other album, Orangutan, other than the kind of quirky looking cover, The album is a bit older too, maybe 5 or 6 or 7 years older. Just the production isn't as good on this album. Sound isn't as clear. It sounds a little more dated than the Rose Tattoo album. The Rose Tattoo album sounds like an album from the late 70s, early 80s, which is dated, but it doesn't sound out of place. The Orangutan had a little bit more of that out of place sound. It sounds really dated in some places. But some really solid tracks. They're much more psychedelic than Rose Tattoo. They have a lot of psychedelic elements to their music. They got heavy stuff too. There's lots of heavy stuff. Some really good, catchy guitar solos. Nice rhythm section as well. I think the vocals are strong, but maybe not as forward as they are on the Rose Tattoo album. They're a little bit more back a little bit, and it could be just the production sound. Production doesn't sound as good for the vocals as they do on Rose Tattoo. So my tracks that I like, I Can See Inside Your Head, which is the opening track, same as Rose Tattoo. Very strong opening, heavy guitar riffs with strong bluesy vocals here, and the drums, catchy drums with really great guitar solo here. Gave this song a 7, as I did to the second song, Slipping Away. Some more heavy riffing, lots of strong vocal parts here. And this song has this kind of psychedelic part with the vocals towards the end, which is really good. I like it. So I gave this song a 7 as well. And then we got 3 6s in a row, and then 3 5s in a row. So the album starts out strong and just slowly goes downhill. It doesn't drop off anywhere. It just slowly goes down. There's no bad tracks on here, I don't think. Love Queen, another psychedelic, bluesy kind of vocals to it. Chocolate, piano, which is kind of different. Got a bit of a catchy riff to it. Strong and pretty forward type of vocals on this particular track. And the guitar solo stands out quite a bit on this as well. I think the guitarist on this album is really good. He doesn't get kind of the forward part that he should. I think if they did more forward guitar, he would definitely bring this up even further. The next song, If You Leave, more bluesy, kind of heavy guitar solo. The guitar riff is really catchy as the drums. They kind of combine here to make it. The last 3 tracks, not as good as the rest of the album, but they're not terrible. The Country Me is a kind of a funny, strange pop song. It's got that kind of country sound to it as well. It's a little bit different. And the last song is heavy, fast-paced lead guitar, lots of strong vocals, real catchy. So overall, it's a really solid album. So then it came down to, because I think I like them both about equal for different reasons. I think the Rose Tattoo is more of a rocking album, and the riffs are heavier, and I like the riffs a lot. The Orangutan has that psychedelic part to it that I really like as well. I think it just comes down to they're both really good at the elements they're doing. I just think the Rose Tattoo album, better production and a better overall sound. I think I got to give it to it by a hair. And I almost went with the Orangutan because of the psychedelic part. That part really pulled them up for me, and I really thought, you know what, I really think this album will do better going forward. And it actually may do better going forward, but it's not going to get that chance in this competition because Rose Tattoo is going to move on up, and Orangutan, unfortunately, isn't. But it's still an album that I want to own. I still like it a lot, just ever so slightly less than the Rose Tattoo. In the long run, I think I probably am going to end up liking it better. It's really hard to tell, because this type of music changes with me fairly quickly, because It's not as impenetrable as prog music is. With prog music, some albums take a very long time to penetrate, and then they just love them, right? Where with these albums, they tend to, they may start a little slow and then come on really quickly, or they may start really quickly and just slowly fade away. So it's pretty much the same with most hard rock albums for me that way. Very few of them have huge length and longevity, but both of these I could see doing very well. Anyways, so there you have it. Rose Tattoo going to next round. Orangutan by a hair is just out of the competition. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make your comments about the two albums below, and please subscribe. It's much appreciated. I'll be back on Tuesday morning with another Battle of the Bands. This one will come out tomorrow morning, Monday morning. So take care and have a good evening. Good night.